Father God. Test 1 2, test 1 2. This is Daniel Gomez Inspires coming to you live here on this Friday afternoon, Labor Day weekend. Whoop, whoop. Happy Friday, everyone. Hey, this is Daniel Gomez Inspires, and I'm pumped up. I'm motivated. I'm inspired today. I'm encouraged. It was an amazing week, an amazing week of wins. And I just want to tell everybody, happy Friday, man. So many great things going on right now in life. And I just want to come on live and just give some words of encouragement, give some words of edification. But also I want to give you some words of truth on this Friday afternoon. So happy Friday, everyone. Drop a comment, drop a line if you have a question. Man, I'm just feeling great today. And I just really want to ask you a question this Friday afternoon, right? So the question I want to ask you on this Friday afternoon is this. Is the question of the day is, what are you feeding yourself? What are you feeding yourself? What did you feed yourself every single day this week? What did you feed yourself on Monday? What did you feed yourself on Tuesday? What did you feed yourself on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday? Because the truth of the matter is 80% of us feed ourselves junk. We feed ourselves stuff, things that don't serve us. And I say that because I found myself one of those days feeding myself things that weren't serving me. You see, because we feed ourselves self-pity. We feed ourselves that self-pity that just discourages us, that doesn't move us forward, and that actually stops us in our track. Or we feed ourselves, right? We feed ourselves things that, how can I say this? You're never going to realize your greatness if you're sitting in front of the TV all day and watching Netflix and binge watching your favorite show, because sooner or later, you just get lazier and lazier. So that's the question I want to ask you today is, what are you feeding yourself, right? Think about it this. I always say this, right? Junk in, junk out. Let me say it again. Junk in, junk out. You can't expect to be fit. You can't expect to be lean and muscular if you're feeding your body sodas, pizza, cake, junk food every day. It doesn't work that way. Well, the same thing works in our lives is, what are you feeding yourself mentally? What are you feeding yourself spiritually? And what are you feeding yourself on a daily basis? So I really want you to think about that comment today, because what we don't realize is the things that we feed ourselves on a daily basis, the things that we feed ourselves every single day, that's our future 5 years from now. Think about that. You want to know what your future's like? Here's a golden rule, right? Here's something simple that we overlook every single day. You want to know what your future's like? I'll tell you what your future's like. It's hidden in your daily routine. Let me say it again. Your future is hidden in your daily routine. So what are you doing daily? What are you feeding yourself daily? It's going to be an amazing 3-day weekend. And, you know, I'm ready to relax a little bit too and have some fun with my family. But everything needs to be done in moderation. Everything needs to be done in moderation, because when we take things in excess, right, we take things for granted. So on this Friday afternoon, as you go into this 3-day weekend, as we're going into the month of September, the first weekend of the month, right, the first weekend of the month, I really want you to think about, what are you feeding yourself today? What did you feed yourself all week? And did it serve you? Because I'm going to make that comment again. If you want to know what your future is like, your future is hidden in your daily routine. What are you doing daily to get you the results that you want? What are you doing daily? We all want to go to the next level in life. We all want to achieve that next level of success. We all want to improve our relationships. We all want to improve our financial situation. But if you're not feeding yourself, if you're not feeding your mind, your subconscious mind, the right information, the right ingredients, it's like making a cake, right? Just think about this. Think if we were baking a cake and we had everything going, we had the oven on, everything was going right, and then we forgot to put the eggs in there. Well, the cake wouldn't stick together. And that's exactly what happens, is we wonder why situations and sections of our lives and areas of our lives are not prospering the way you want them to prosper. We're wondering why they're not prospering, and it's because we don't have the right ingredients. We're not putting the right things into our life. So as we go into this weekend, think about that. What are you feeding yourself? And I want to let you know that coming up October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we're having our Evolution Weekend. It's going to be amazing, right? It's going to be awesome, because On the evolution weekend, let me share this. But what we're going to put on the evolution weekend is we're going to feed you the food that you need to be successful. We're going to feed you the food that you need to change your life. Because it's time you get rid of that thinking that no longer serves you. It's time you get rid of that stinking thinking. It's time that you elevate who you are inside. It's called evolution. It's called evolution weekend because you got to go from the simple to the complex. And I want to share a little story with you because in our old house, we had a nice pool, right? We had a nice pool. It was beautiful. There was nothing wrong with our pool. And it was a nice pool. We had that pool for 8 or 9 years. But I quickly learned that the pool we have here in this house, man, it's a big difference. It's more complex. It has more moving parts. It has more valves. And let me tell you, it seemed overwhelming. But I had to expand my capacity to be able to operate this new pool that we've had compared to the old one. And I will be honest with you, there was a part of me that was frustrated. There was a part of me that said, man, it's a pain in the ass. But isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how the very things we pray about, the very things that we want in our lives, the very things that we like so desperately want, and then we get them, and then we find ourselves complaining about it. And I say this because I myself found myself complaining about our new pool because it's a lot of moving parts. It's complex. When you have one valve on my old pool at the other house, and then you come over here and you have 6 valves, you got to raise your elevation of thinking. You got to raise your skill set. You got to raise your knowledge. And then you got to apply that knowledge and that skills that you've learned about the new pool. But so many of us in our lives, we don't apply the new things that we learn, or we face something that's a little bit challenging. And right away, we get frustrated. And instead of saying we get fascinated, we start blaming other people. We start blaming our wife. We blame our children. We blame this. We blame that. Instead of taking ownership and taking responsibility. I want to let you know this. The moment you take responsibility for yourself, that's where the freedom comes in. Let me say it again. The moment you take responsibility for your own life, for your own choices that you make, that's where the freedom comes in. And I had to take responsibility for my actions, for the choices that I made, because I'll be honest with you, I got frustrated with the pool because it was complex. But now here, these last couple of days, this last week or so, week and a half, it's been a lot easier because I understand it now. I took time to learn it. I took time to study it. I took time to spend time with the new pool and the valves. And it's just a lot of moving parts. But what part of your life is it simple and it's not serving you anymore? So you find yourself bored. You find yourself not challenged. You find yourself gaining weight. You find yourself doing the very things that you hate because you're tolerating the things that no longer serve you. So think about that today. In our evolution weekend, we have a couple of seats left over. We had another client sign up here yesterday. I'm so excited. It's going to be a small, intimate event. But it's all about you. It's all about taking off the lid in your life, taking off the lid in your finances, in your money. How do you see money, right? Think about it. We all say, we all say that we have a great relationship with money. And the reality is that 98% of us, our relationship with money stinks. And I'm learning about it every single day even more. But I've always said this, right? To be a multimillionaire, you got to think like a multimillionaire before you become that multimillionaire. And what I realize when I coach my clients and when I go out there to these businesses and I talk to these business owners that are stuck, that are losing money, is they don't have the right mindset with money. And in return, it's like they push money away. Because what you don't respect, you won't attract. What you don't honor, you won't attract. So I really want you to think about this as you step into this weekend. And most of us, we're easy to invest on a big screen TV. We're easy to invest on things that we don't need. Some of us put rims on our cars. And hey, I like nice things too. I like to dress up my cars too. But some of these things, we'll go buy a new purse right away, and we don't need a purse really, but we buy it because it fills that empty void inside our heart and our soul temporarily. But all these things are temporary. You got to invest in yourself. You got to invest in your heart. The word of God says this, is that all things flow from your heart, right? All issues of life flow from your heart. So with all diligence, protect your heart. And how many of us, we don't even protect our heart And trying to really think about this. We feed ourselves the wrong thing, right? Because what are you feeding yourself? You feed yourself the imagination that new person is going to make you feel better. We feed ourselves that imagination that, man, if I go by myself, this new car is going to make me feel better. And I'm not dogging nice things. I love nice things myself. But the thing is, if you're trying to fill that void, right? If you're trying to fill that void with shopping, with sex, with whatever it is that you're trying to fill that void, right? We all have addictions in certain areas of our lives that we try to fill that void in our life. But the truth is this, is that once you open your heart and you grow your heart, and the way you grow your heart is this. I'm gonna tell you something, because I was excited. I was pumped up, man. I was having an amazing July. August came around and bam! And I was like, where did this come from, right? But I was excited because of this, because God put in my heart, I'm going to grow your heart. I'm going to grow your heart, my son. I'm going to grow your heart. And I'm like, okay, badass, cool, right? But little did I realize that God was going to grow my heart by healing it. And his form of healing it is not our form of healing it. His form of growing your heart is not our form of growing your heart. Because he had to deal with issues that I had suppressed from a long time ago that hadn't come up ever. Because the reality is me, you, we all got crap that we push down and we don't deal with. And some of it, we don't even realize it's there. But it's like that old saying from St. Francis of Assisi, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Let me say it again. When the student, you, me, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And it's time you deal with those issues in your life. It's time you deal with that pain that you've been carrying that has just been killing you inside, that causes you to be angry, that causes you to be jealous, that causes you to be envious. You have no reason to be envious of anybody. You need to start. Most of us wonder, why does my life suck, right? Why does my life suck? I'm just being honest, I'm being real, right? Well, your life sucks because you're envious of your Uncle Joe, your Aunt Mary. You're jealous, you're envious of everybody else, and you can never celebrate anybody's victories. So you keep feeding yourself envy, you keep feeding yourself jealousy, and then it's a vicious cycle that keeps going in circles because you keep feeding yourself that junk instead of truly celebrating people and being happy for people. But you just don't realize it because you don't have the awareness to see what's going on. You can only see as far as you can see. You know, everybody wants to change their life. Everybody wants to elevate their life. Everybody wants something better for themselves. It's just buried under all that junk that we've been putting on top of each other. So I want to encourage you today to stop feeding yourself those things that don't longer serve you. I want you to stop feeding yourself envy. Stop feeding yourself jealousy. Stop feeding yourself those things that no longer serve you. And I'm going to invite you to Evolution Weekend. We have 4 spots left. It's going to be a small, intimate event here at our house. And we're really going to talk about what is putting that lid, what is putting that cap on top of your life, on top of your business, on money, right? Why are you always broke, right? Think about it. If you've been broke for the last year, something's going on. If you've been broke for the last 5 years, there's something going on. If you're always falling into the same situations where you're having to borrow money, where you're having to do this, think about this. It's time you deal with them. It's time you do a shift, a paradigm shift. I say this, and I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. That doesn't do you any freaking good to pivot if you pivot with the same old mindset. It's time you pivot and you raise your level of thinking. It's time you get rid of that stinking thinking. And at Evolution Weekend, it's going to help you. I don't claim to know everything, but I will tell you this, is that in my 20-something years of just being who I am, when I moved out of my brother's house, because, you know, people sometimes we play the pity party game. And, man, I lost my mom when I was 10 years old. She died. I lost my dad when he was 26. He died. I had a brother that committed suicide. He died. I had another brother that died a year later. He died. Everybody died. But I refuse to play the victim. I refuse to play the victim. I refuse to play the victim. Now, do I ever fall into situations where I get stuck? Yes. But in the mindset that I've been developing, it pushes me through those and I don't get stuck. My bounce back, right? Some of us need to work on our bounce back because we keep feeding ourselves the junk. We keep feeding ourselves the self pity. We keep feeding ourselves the envy that no longer serves us. And you really have to just take that into consideration, right? Say it again. I'm listening. Hey, Coach Rick McCardle, thank you, man. Yeah. I want you to know that this is going to happen October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I would love for you to be here. I would love for you to be here. And it's going to be an intimate event. We have 4 spots left. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to provide the food. My wife's going to cook an amazing dinner on Friday night. We're going to have our discovery sessions. We're going to go deep, introductions. And then Saturday from 9 to 9, we're going to get into it. I mean, you're going to be taught. You're going to be taught. It's not by accident. I want to tell you this. It's one thing that I've learned, right? Just being in corporations and what I do is if you're successful at one thing, you're usually going to be successful at another thing. And by the grace of God, I say this humbly, right? No matter what I've done, I've been successful. When I started my own business, there was people that were rooting against me, and it's okay. But I have the mindset of business. I have the mindset of success. I have a champion's mindset. And by the grace of God, he's shown me the wisdom. He's shown me the ideas. It's time to get the busyness out of your life, right? And it's time to start executing. It's time to get the busyness out of your life and start executing. And like Rick McCardle says, right? Sometimes we just got to listen. Sometimes we're too busy talking and we don't listen. Thank you for tuning in, Aaron. How you doing? I'm doing great, man. I'm doing fantastic. God bless you, brother. But I really want you just to go into this weekend and focus on what needs to change in my life. What needs to change in who I am? What needs to change? And the same problems that were created by this mind, by your mind, is not the same mind that's gonna solve the situations or problems. So it's time to elevate your thinking. It's time to expand your capacity. It's time to change your point of view because my point of view isn't always right. And I always thought, I'm that dominant D, that driver comes out, boom, when I'm running things, I want things to run my way, and they don't all the time. And I would get upset, but I didn't have all the answers, right? Because everything I saw was from my perspective. And it's time you change the way you see things from a different perspective. It's time you change the way you see money. It's time you change the way you see relationships. It's time you change the way how you see business. It's time you start seeing yourself as a very successful business. So those are my words of wisdom to you for the weekend. If somebody needs to hear this message, please share it on your timeline. And also, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Daniel Gomez Inspires, please subscribe to our channel and share it with a friend. And if you're watching this on replay, please put hashtag replay. But give me send me an email here, right? Send me an email. Where's my thing here? Send me an email at daniel@danielgomezspeaker.com. I'd love for you to be here, part of our Evolution Weekend, October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We have a couple of small spots. It's going to be an intimate event. It's going to be an amazing event where you're going to learn, you're going to grow, and you're going to elevate your thinking. You're going to raise your thinking, and you're going to start seeing things from a different perspective. Because the reality is this: is you're never going to receive the ideas that are contrary to your core belief. And if your core belief, if the value system of your life and your core beliefs, if your value system is low, you're never going to do the things you need to do to raise and see yourself at a higher level. It's time you raise your self-esteem, right? The man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror never lies. You find out who a person is during adversity. That crunch time, when adversity comes into their lives, you find out who somebody's made of. And many of us, we need to strengthen who we are inside, because the life that we're manifesting now, the life that you're manifesting now, is a result of who you are inside. It's a mirror, right? It's an inner reflection of who you are in the inside. And we all want to patch up the outside of who we are. We all want to put on makeup. We all want to put on just jewelry to make us look better. We all want to put on that temporary fix. when in reality, who we are in our core belief sucks. And it's time you change that. And I say that because there was a lot of things this past month in August. I'll be honest with you. I had to change some things within myself. Because, right, to handle hundreds takes one character. To handle thousands takes another level of character. To handle tens of thousands, it takes another level of character. To handle hundreds of thousands, that's an even bigger foundation and stronger character that you need, right? To handle millions, why do you think most people that win the lottery, they're either dead or in 3 or 4 years, they end up worse than they were when they won the lottery? Because they don't have the character. They don't have the substance inside to handle that type of blessing. And it's time you work on your substance. And that evolution weekend, we're going to do that. This is Daniel Gomez Inspires. You have an amazing weekend. And really take thought to what I talked about today. Take it into consideration. Absorb it. Think about it. Because it's time you stop tolerating the things that no longer serve you. I'm going to say that again. And you can change anything in your life if you want to badly enough. Nothing is carved in stone. The question is, how bad do you want it? Have an amazing weekend, everybody. I love y'all. God bless you.